Hey guys, this is Web Naruto went back in time with Sasuke part 5. Sorry if I sound a bit sleepy or if I'm whispering. It's currently 5 a.m. or 5 in the morning, however you want to say it. And I've been playing like Skyblock on Hypixel like all night, and I just haven't slept. And I decided to just record a video now, just so I don't get lazy or fall asleep and don't record for today's video. So yeah, again, sorry if I sound a little bit sleepy or if, you know, if I'm whispering a bit. But and also, I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to keep the intro for that long because I've heard this new bill that might be passed that about copyright strikes, and it might affect YouTube a lot at the point where most content creators won't be able to use music like at all. So if that actually passes, then we'll basically say goodbye to the intro. I'm going to cut it out of all my videos because I've heard that you can get in a lot of trouble just for that. So yeah. Let's get right into this what if. So what happened in the last part is basically Naruto and Hinata ended up confessing their love to each other. And this is after Naruto and Sasuke both finally got back to the village after 3 years of training. And yeah, they got there, they got to meet the Rookie Nine, and that's when Naruto and Hinata confessed their love for each other. So does Sakura and Sasuke, and afterwards, both Naruto and Sasuke go home to their own houses. And Sasuke gets to agree and, like, you know, talk to Itachi for a bit before eventually lying down and falling asleep, while Naruto is about to get into bed so he can fall asleep for a bit because they both got there really early in the morning. And Sasuke hasn't slept for like a few days. Naruto has, but he's still pretty sleepy. And Naruto, as soon as he lays down, he realizes, or he basically remembers that he has to report back to the Hokage's office, or report back to the Hokage, aka Tsunade, just so she knows that the mission went well. And so Naruto would kind of contemplate either getting up and going to the Hokage's office, or just lying down and sleeping, then later on getting up and going. And he decided, just so he won't get in trouble, just get up and go now. And so Naruto would eventually reluctantly get out of bed and start dragging his feet basically over to the Hokage's office. And he would eventually open the door, and Tsunade would like greet Naruto and says, "It's been a while, Naruto. You've grown a lot more taller." And Naruto say, "Boy, sorry." Naruto would have said, "Yeah, I've been eating a lot of my greens and exercising a lot." And Tsunade said, "Well, I can see." And she would also say, "Well, how has your mission gone?" And Naruto would say, "Well, it could have gone a little bit more better." And Tsunade would say, "What do you mean? Why is that?" And Naruto would kind of look down and kind of like scratch his head and go, "Well, they already got two of the tailed beasts before we were even able to get there." And Tsunade would kind of like mildly scream at Naruto like, "They what? How?" And Naruto would say, "Well, before me and Sasuke even left the village, they were already getting some tailed beasts, and they already got two before we were even able to like train them." And Tsunade would say, "Well, which tailed beast?" And Naruto would have said, "Well, it's the 5 and 7 tails." I'm saying this because the 5 and 7 tails were abducted slash taken by the Akatsuki. I forgot what the actual word is. Yeah, either way, they're taken by the Akatsuki before Shippuden even happened. And so I'm just gonna say that that kind of happened again, and Naruto and Sasuke just didn't pay attention to it and forgot about it. And so yeah, Tsunade would go, "Well, at least you had to train all the other tailed beasts, right?" And Naruto said, "Yeah, except one of them was kind of hard to train because they wouldn't let me." And Tsunade said, "Which one?" And Naruto said, "Well, it was the eight tails, and Killer B, or more of the Raikage wouldn't let me." And wait, it's Raikage, right? Yeah, yeah. Wait, yeah. I I, I kind of forgot if it was the Kazekage or Raikage, but it's Raikage. And so Naruto or Tsunade said, "Well, I can see that the Raikage can be pretty stingy sometimes, especially with people from the Leaf, or sometimes." And Naruto said, "Well, yeah, he didn't let me train them, but eventually I got the trust of Killer B, and he he let me train him for a bit after showing him what I could do." And Naruto and Tsunade would have said, and speaking of what you can do, I've been, or I want to see how much stronger you've gotten. I want you to fight a few people. And Naruto would say, okay, well, who? And Tsunade would say, well, it's a few people. And afterwards, she would have said, well, it's me, Orochimaru, Jiraiya, and Naruto would like kind of cut her off and say, "Oh, so the three legendary Sannin. That's gonna be an interesting fight. Well, come on, when will we meet or when will we fight?" And Tsunade would say, "Well, there's a few other people actually," and Naruto would have said, "Wait, who?" And Tsunade would have said, "Well, there's also Kakashi and Guy Sensei," and Naruto would have thought about it like, if Guy uses the eight gates, then that's gonna be kind of annoying to deal with. But he would have thought about it and go, he wouldn't probably use that against me. And Naruto would have said, well, where are we going to fight at? And Tsunade would have then said, it's at the fields where you guys took the bell test. They're probably already waiting for us, so we better get going. And Naruto said, alright. And both of them would have kind of just walked over. And eventually, when they got there, Naruto would greet all of them, saying that how much he missed them. They haven't seen each other, especially Kakashi and Dry. He would have hugged both of them. Not so much Orochimaru. He's seen Orochimaru a few times because Orochimaru has been working on this one boosting to help boost the village and all the ninjas, like their strengths and all their chakra. He's been working on it, and Naruto has been keeping tabs on Orochimaru. I'm not sure if I mentioned that in the last video, but sorry if I didn't. If I have, then it was in the last video. So Naruto would have then basically, how do I explain this? Well, all of them would get into position, and they would kind of circle around Naruto, and Naruto would say, "Are we allowed to power up before the fight even starts?" And all of them would say yes, and that's when Naruto and Kakashi activates the Mangekyo Sharingan, and the reason why he already has the Mangekyo, or I'm pretty sure he had it at the start of Shippuden, but he just didn't use it because he used it during the fight with Deidara, and when he used that, that was like a few episodes after the start of Shippuden, I'm pretty sure. I think. But it might have not been, now that I think about it, but I'm not 100% sure. Either way, I'm going to have it so Itachi actually trained Kakashi a bit on how to, or kind of how to use the Mangekyo Sharingan and how to see if he has it. Because he had it since he was a kid, but he was never able to use it. So I'm going to say he's been training his Sharingan to eventually he was able to use the Mangekyo. And Itachi was able to help Kakashi train with it. And so, yeah. And Guy Sensei would have gone to the eight gates. Not eight gates. What the heck? The five gates. I think that's what they're called. Sorry if they're not, but or I'm not sure where his limit is before. Cause I know when he uses his eight gates, it's like really big. Like, how do I explain it? Cause I remember when he used it during the war arc, he's basically not even able to fight anymore. He's in a wheelchair, so I'm not sure if his max is 7 gates. Either way, just imagine one of his maxes. It might be the 7 gates. If not, then it's 5 or 6 gates. Either way, he uses a high amount of the gates, and he automatically has to activate it. Tsunade has that one X symbol on her forehead. I forgot what it's called, but you know, I forgot what it's called. But she has that. Jiraiya activates Sage mode, and Orochimaru activates his kind of snake version of Sage mode. I'm pretty sure he would have something like that. Either way, they all power up, and Naruto would say, "Huh? So you've all trained a lot, haven't you? I can sense that you all have gotten more powerful." And Naruto would kind of cracked his head, like not cracked his head, but cracked his neck, if you know what I'm talking about. Like go, make his neck turn to the right and left, crack it, and he would go, "Well, I guess it's my turn now." And as soon as he says that, all of them just feel an overwhelming amount of power. And this is actually every single tailed beast. Basically, Naruto's made a new move. I'm going to call it KCM 9 instead of KCM 3. And the reason I'm calling it KCM 9, well, it depends what he's using. In KCM 2 mode, or he basically kind of reestablished, instead of there being KCM 1 and 2, KCM 1 is him using like his own version that he only has of basically Shikaku mode. Instead of like, Kurama mode, it's Shikaku. And I know it's KCM, and that stands for, I forgot, but it has something to do with karma. It should be like CSM or something like that. But I'm just gonna continue calling it KCM. But for the most part, it likes using KCM 9, and that is basically every single tailed beast. Or, actually, I think about it, I think it should just be just KCM 2, and that's Karma mode. The max one, and after all that is a tailed beast added. So KCM 3 is like another tailed beast, and then so on to eventually gets to KCM 9, and that is basically a whole bunch, like kind of how Kurama's is, where it's a orange glowy, like glowing chakra all around Naruto, but except it's every single color of the tailed beast. So depending on what their colors are, it gives them kind of a chakra mode or chakra cloak mode, and it surrounds Naruto, and it adds a whole bunch of different layers and kind of a blend of a whole bunch of different colors. And the main one that Naruto has, so it's basically like Kurama, his chakra surrounds Naruto, and then the eight tails, the seven tails, six tails, until eventually goes to the one tail. It's a whole bunch of layers of chakra, and it's basically Naruto using all the tailed beasts' chakra, and he also decides to activate Sage mode while doing all this. He doesn't activate six Sage six paths mode. I think that's what it's called, because he doesn't think that they'd be able to handle it that well. So he rather just activate Sage mode, because again, they are all pretty powerful. And Naruto, I'm gonna say this is not 100% of Naruto's power at all, but this is like a good amount, or like a good chunk, that Naruto decides to use against all of them, just to show them that Naruto has gotten a lot more stronger. And so back to what I was saying kind of earlier, as soon as Naruto activates this, all of them just feel an overwhelming amount of power, and they kind of are scared off about this, or scared off from this, because they can sense like tailed beasts, and tailed beasts, they've sensed their chakra before, and so even people from really far away can like sense as if almost all the tailed beasts have been released in one place, but that one place is Naruto, and so everyone like all across the world can like basically feel Naruto's power, and all of them kind of gulp, and then they start fighting, and Naruto just basically demolishes them. He doesn't hurt them too much at the point where they basically die, but some of them do pass out. Other ones just kind of are pretty injured, and Naruto is able to heal all of them afterwards, though, because I'm gonna say Naruto was able to develop some good medical ninjutsus. But either way, he does all that, and they eventually they all walk back to the Hokage's office and discuss what their next move is. But that's when somebody comes barging in and goes, "Lady Tsunade, there's an emergency at the Sand Village." And Tsunade would have said, "What is it? What's happening?" And um the the ninja, I'm too lazy to think of which ninja, but just some random ninja, like a filler character, I guess, would have just came in and told her that the Kazekage, at this point Gaara is the Kazekage now, slash the One Tails, has been abductive, or has been taken by the Koski members, and or no, actually I'm gonna say that the Sand Village is under attack by the Koski members, and the Kazekage, aka Gaara, needs help. And Naruto would have gone, "Why would Gaara need help? I trained him enough so he should be able to handle both of them pretty easily." And Tsunade said, "Don't mind that. Just go get Sasuke and Sakura and go to the Sand Village. I'm trusting you three to go handle this." And Naruto would have said, "Okay, Lady Tsunade, I'll go get Sasuke and Sakura." And Naruto would have rushed to Sasuke and told him what's happening, and then Sasuke would have gone go get Sakura, and they would both, or basically Naruto would explain to Sasuke and Sakura what's happening, and Sasuke would go, "Wait, but how? Gaara was trained really well, at the point where he should be able to handle both of them. If not, he should be able to protect his village and enough for us to come over." Not because the way they explained it is that Gaara's losing really badly. That's the way the guy that walked in explained to Naruto, that they need help immediately. So Naruto and Sasuke and Sakura all get there as fast as possible, like faster than how they did in canon. By the time they get there, Gar's already been taken, and actually, they got there a lot more faster. But they wanted to keep up with. How do I explain this? They got there a lot more faster, but not too fast. And his Naruto would have thought that Gar would be able to handle them pretty well, but by the time they get there, his brother, oh, again, I always forget his name, but he's already been taken, or not his brother, was because his brother's already been poisoned, and they explained to uh, Naruto that basically Tara's already been taken. And Naruto goes, no, we're too late. And he would have frantically kind of looked around and gone, okay, Sakura, this is what's happening. Or this is what you need to do. And Naruto would have told her the medicine to give to Garo's brother, like in canon. He would have memorized it, or he would have remembered it, and gave it to Sakura and said, trust me, this is the right antidote. Make it and give it to him. It will heal him completely. Just trust me on this. Me and Sasuke need to go retrieve Gara as soon as possible, or else he will die. And Sakura would go, okay, Naruto, I got it, and would go over to, Gaara's brother, make the antidote, and give it to him. At this point, Naruto and Sasuke are already gone, and they're just full on rushing at this point. Like, instead of before, they thought that maybe Gaara would be able to handle them pretty well and gone at a decent pace. Now they're just full on rushing as fast as possible. And Sasuke has lightning all over him. Naruto has KCM2 activated, which is this in this term um what's called Chroma mode, the KCM2 like in canon. That's what he's using, and with this he's able to go a lot more faster, and they're both just rushing as fast as possible. And they would also be talking while going and say, how is Gaara defeated? There has to be something. And eventually they get to where Gaara was taken, and they start fighting the people that took him, which are Deidara and Sasori, I think, Puppet Man, Mr. Pinocchio, him, and Boom Boom Man. So he basically starts fighting both of those two, and Naruto notices that or actually no, they try to get there as fast as possible, but by the time that the more they start getting closer, the more they notice that Gaara's, like, his power and his chakra is starting to, his life force kind of is starting to go down by a lot, at the point where they're barely able to sense him. And by the time they get there, Gaara is basically dead. His tailed beast was already extracted a lot more quicker than it would have been in canon. And the only people that are there are Deidara and Sasori. The rest are kind of like, how do I explain it? It's hard to explain, but I'm gonna say all the rest of the Akatsuki basically fled, or they weren't really there. I don't get how that part worked, where they were all just the around the circle discussing. I'm just gonna say the only people that were really there are Data and Sasori, and they've already taken Gaara's, one tails, aka, I forgot. Oh man, I forgot the name. I'm really tired right now, as I said earlier, and when I'm tired, I'm not good at remembering things. So sorry about that. And Naruto would have kind of start getting kind of mad. He would have been able to control it, but Deidara was kind of laughing at Naruto about how he was able to kill Gaara so easily after Naruto trained him. And Naruto would have also thought, how did they know? How did they know I was training them? And they would have or Naruto was kind of thinking like, how? But that was classified. Nobody should have known except the tailed beasts or the Kages of that village that were training tailed beasts in order for them to be protected by the Akatsuki. And Naruto, or again Deidara, and Sasori try to fight Naruto, and Naruto notices that they got an extreme boost. Like, not enough for Naruto to be worried about taking them on, but he doesn't notice that they got a lot more powerful. And this is because I'm going to say that Toby/Obito was able to make some sort of, like, something that would basically boost their attack and, like, basically make them a lot more stronger for a good amount, like a good period of time. And Naruto would have noticed this, but Naruto would start getting more and more mad because Deidara would just be laughing and laughing, kind of like, because he was kind of crazy. But yeah, he would have been laughing. The more he laughs, the more Naruto would have got mad, and Naruto would have told Sasuke to stay back, that he wants this one. And Naruto would look down and look back up, and as soon as he looks back up, he basically sends a whole bunch of just bullet lust towards them, freezing both Deidara and Sasori in place. And in the blink of an eye, both of them are dead. Naruto was able to kill them instantly, and that's how mad he kind of was at them for doing that to Gaara. And he basically instantly kills them. And he looks back at Gaara and rushes over to him and says, Gaara, are you still alive at all?" And Gaara would turn his head just slightly and go, "Naruto," and Naruto would say, "Okay, this is good. Don't worry, you're gonna be okay, Gaara." And Naruto would have put his hand on Gaara's shield and would have given what's it called? Would have given Gaara a part of the one tail Shikaku. There we go. Would have given uh Gaara part of Shikaku, or aka part of Naruto Shikaku, that he has. Because remember, he has every tailed beast, and I'm gonna say he gave him like a good 50% of it. And he did this in order to save him because he's still just barely alive. And with this, he shouldn't die. So Naruto was able to give him, and after this, Gaara's like pretty weak still, and he still ends up passing out, but he is basically still alive. And Naruto grabs Gaara and says, or tells Sasuke, "Good thing we were able to come here quick enough, or else Gaara probably would have already died." And Sasuke would have gone, "Yes. Well, what about the other tailed beasts? If they already got, or if those Akatsuki members were able to take out Gaara so quickly, how do you think the other tailed beasts will do?" And Naruto says, "I don't know yet, but it seems that they got some sort of boost. They're a lot more powerful than we remembered. I'm not sure if the other tailed beasts are going to be able to take them on." And so eventually Naruto makes his way back to the Sand Village, and he has Sakura, or Naruto has Sakura check Gaara to make sure everything's alright, and she concludes that Gaara's perfect. Like, he's okay. He's just a little bit tired and a little bit weak from the tailed beast being extracted from him. And at this point, the Koski basically have three tailed beasts in the ghetto statue. And so Naruto would basically have then yeah, so basically they would have walked back to the village, walked back to the Leaf Village, and would have reported back to Tsunade and tell her that they're able to save Gaara just in time, and he should be okay. They also got to kill the two Akatsuki members, and Tsunade goes, "Oh, sorry, sorry, I yawned." And Naruto would have said, or would have told Tsunade about how he was able to kill both the Akatsuki members that attacked him, or attacked Gaara. And Tsunade would have said, "That's good." And as soon as they kind of start ending the conversation, Naruto and Sasuke were about to walk out and go back to their home. The same ninja that came in earlier with the news comes in and goes, "Lady Tsunade, there's another emergency from the Cloud Village. They're requiring, or they request our assistance, or at least Naruto and Sasuke's assistance." And Tsunade said, "Great, what now?" And uh, Tsunade or Naruto would have said, or not Naruto, what the heck? The ninja would have said that there's these other Akatsuki members, a whole bunch of them attacking the Cloud Village and trying to get the eight tails. I'm pretty sure there's actually two tailed beasts in the Cloud Village. I'm not sure actually, but I think there might have been uh, for sure the eight tails. But either way, I'm gonna say that he would have said that they're trying to capture the eight tails, and Naruto and Sasuke would have again. And the reason is because they heard of Naruto. They've heard how strong he's gone, and they know that in order for them to be able to win, basically, they need to rush all the tailed beasts and get them as soon as possible. No, like, no monkey business, I guess you can call it, but basically just rush all the tailed beasts and get them as quickly as possible. And basically, all the paths of pain are attacking the Cloud Village right now. And Naruto would have looked at Sasuke, or I'm gonna say actually, Sasuke would have looked at Naruto and go, "It's pain. It's probably them. We need to go now. I'm not sure if they'll be able to handle them, especially with the boost." And Naruto would say, "Okay, Tsunade, we'll be on our way. I think it'll," or and would say, "I think it'll just be better if it," or actually no, never mind, because Sasuke, Sakura, and Naruto would all be there. And actually no, Naruto would say, "Sakura, you stay behind just in case, because they might try to attack the Leaf Village too. Me and Sasuke will go help protect the." Actually, no, never mind. Scratch that. Naruto would say, "Sasuke, I think it's best if you were to stay here. I'll go help out the the Cloud Village. You need to protect the Leaf, because they should be rushing all-tailed beasts, and I'm not sure if they'll also be going after me. And they might also attack the Leaf Village. I need you to stay here and protect the Leaf, alright?" And Sasuke go, "Yes, I understand, Naruto. You go ahead. Hurry." And Naruto said, "Thank you for understanding, Sasuke." And he would have rushed out of the room and gone to the Cloud Village. And Naruto would have basically gone there, and their whole entire village is basically like not destroyed, but like a good chunk of it is basically destroyed, and a whole bunch of people are already dead. And the Heitos is trying to fight Pain, but he can barely like fight one of them, let alone a whole pack of them. But as soon as it's like almost they've lost all hope, because also the Raikage is there too, and again the Eight Tails or Octopops, whatever you call them, I forgot. Killer Bee, there we go. And a bunch of other ninjas are there too, but they're starting to lose a bit of hope because they can barely take them on. Because again, it's Paths of Pain, which are already powerful, but with an extra boost, so they're extra powerful. And Naruto would eventually go in there, and even though they all have boost, they're still nowhere near Naruto's level, especially with Six Path Sage Mode and KCM9, as I explained earlier. And this is the equivalent to, imagine a grown adult Naruto, like Naruto in Boruto, with KCM2 activated, and he's fighting a rookie ninja, like a Genin. That's the equivalent. The Paths of Pain are Genin, and Naruto is adult Hokage Naruto. That's the equivalent to it. And so he's able to get there and just basically smack them all around and able to take down all of them. And he realizes that he needs to get to Nagato or needs to get to Nagato and explain everything, and that'll be best. And so eventually, without even using uh those chakra staffs or whatever they're called to find out where Nagato is, Naruto already remembers where it's at and would have told or told Killer Bee that everything will be okay. Trust him. And Naruto eventually gets to where Nagato is, and Konan at first is defensive and starts to try to attack Naruto, and that's when Nagato tells her to stop to let him pass. And Naruto kind of tells or retells his little speech that Nagato gave him, and even shows Nagato some of the memories from the past, and explains to everything what's happened, or explains to Nagato everything that has happened and what's going to happen. And Nagato says, "I see. Well, it seems that I've made the wrong or the wrong. Oh my god." And Nagato would have said, "It seems that I made the wrong choice once again. Well, the outcome will be the same." And Naruto says, "Are you sure, Nagato?" And Nagato would have said, "Yes, Naruto. It's the only way to repent for my sins. I've killed a lot of innocent people today." And Nagato would have said, "Well, I have one request before I go." And Naruto says, "Yes, what is it?" And Nagato would have said, or would looked at Konan and said, "Konan, give Naruto one of my renegons." And Konan would have said, "Are you sure, Nagato?" And Nagato would have said, "Yes, I'm sure. He showed me some of his memories, and Madara will go after my renegon, or not, or yeah, Obito slash Toby, and also Madara will go after my renegon. It's safer, or it'll be a lot more safe if Naruto has at least one of them." And Naruto said, Nagato, once again, are you sure? And Nagato says, yes, Naruto. You've seen how it played out before. It'll be safer in your hands than it would be in my dead hands. And Naruto says, okay. And so Conan basically implants his Rinnegan to Naruto's right eye. And Naruto starts looking around and says, whoa, this looks pretty cool. And yeah, so basically, after that, or no, actually, first, uh, Nagato would use the I forgot what the move is, but basically he revived. Sorry, I had something right there. Nagato would have revived everybody that got hurt slash killed in the uh basically anybody who was killed in the Cloud Village that day. And this would of course kill Nagato, and afterwards Naruto would have gotten Nagato's Rinnegan, or only one of them. And so then Conan would have taken Nagato's dead body and then taken it to like a burial ground, like where it originally was in canon. And so Naruto makes sure to keep a track on Conan just in case, because he knows that Obito might be going after the Rinnegan pretty soon. And he eventually gets back home to the village, and the next or and in the Cloud Village, Naruto is treated as a hero for being able to take down all of them, or all the paths to pain, and basically reviving everybody there. And so the Raikage kind of agrees to have a little bit of alliance with Leaf, and so because of this, Naruto then decides to explain to the Raikage what's been going on, who he is, and how he's from the future and all that. And so the Raikage says, "Thank you for telling me this, Naruto. It shows that you trust me, and I trust you in return." And so, yeah. And a few days later, I'm not sure how long it took for Obito to find Konan, but Naruto senses that Konan's chakra is getting a lot more weaker, and this is because Obito is now fighting Konan, and Konan's on the brink of death. And Naruto starts rushing over, and this time Obito doesn't kill her right away. He kind of grabs her by the throat and drags her over, and eventually makes her talk on where Nagato is, because she knows even if Obito finds it, um, there's only one eye in there, and Conan decides that as a last wish, kind of, he wants to see the reaction of Obito's face when he realizes that there's only one Rinnegan, and of course she basically gets that last wish, and Obito kind of grabs her by the neck again, raises her up, and says, "Where is it? Where's the Rinnegan? Tell me now." And Conan would just have a silent voice, and Obito would say, "So that's how you want to play," and would have punched her into the ground, and he was about to, and he would have grabbed a kunai and was about to stab her, but that's when Naruto like basically walks in and says, "Your other Renegons with me," and would have opened his right eye to reveal the Renegon just sitting in his eye basically, and Obito would says, "You're the Nine Tails brat, aren't you? Give it now, before I kill you and take your nine tails as well." And Naruto says, "You can even lay a finger on me." And Obito said, "Oh, you're gonna regret that." And Obito would have tried fighting Naruto, but Naruto would have been able to dodge like basically all of this. And as they're fighting, Naruto's basically trying to talk to Obito, and eventually says, "So, Obito, how's your life been so far?" And he would have reacted like, "What? He knows my name. He knows who I am." And said, "How do you know? How do you know my identity?" And uh, Naruto would say, "Well, or would have said, don't worry about it for now. But are you sure this is how Ren would have wanted you to go down, or this is the path Ren would want you to go down?" And Obito was just sitting there like, "How do you know this? Shut up!" And would kept on telling Naruto, shut up," as he punches him over and over again. And Naruto says, "Well, I think I've had enough of this." Puts his hand to Obito's face and transplants some of the memories that he has of Obito, and says, "Remember, Obito." And then Obito kind of gains all the memories from Naruto of the future, how what happened to him, you know, all that. And would have also explained to Obito that it wasn't Kakashi's fault, that Madara was actually basically, what's it called? Madara was basically manipulating Obito into thinking that it was all Kakashi's fault, or like basically overall manipulating Obito, and it's also Black Zetsu that was manipulating, tricking Madara. And so Obito says, "Thank you, Naruto, for showing me this, but I'm not sure if I can even show my face to Kakashi anymore." And Naruto says, "It's okay, Obito. He'll understand. Trust me. He has talked about you before, and he always wishes that he was able to see you and talk to you again. He'll be he'll be happy to see you again." And Obito says, "Okay, Naruto." And Naruto also heals Konan because Konan's like was on the brink of death, and decides to heal him or to heal her. And so he decides to take Konan and Obito back to the village, and decides to also take Nagato's, you know, uh, dead body and like coffin with him, so that way he can be buried somewhere in the Leaf Village where uh Conan will be able to watch over him as much as she wants. And so yeah, they eventually make it back to the village, and in secrecy, nobody knows that about Obito or about Conan going back or going to the Leaf Village. And Naruto explains to Tsunade about Obito and Conan, kind of their situation, and Tsunade decides to accept them because she puts a lot of trust into Naruto. And so Naruto would say thank you, Tsunade, and they basically would have buried Nagato kind of a little bit on the outskirts of the Leaf Village, but enough so it isn't too far. Just basically, Konan decided on the place where she wanted Nagato to be buried, and yeah, so Naruto would have then start talking to Obito and asked him when he wants to see Kakashi, and Obito is kind of like really nervous to talk to Kakashi because at this point he's regained all his memories kind of the future, but it's in the past. It's hard to explain. Either way, this is kind of changed Obito, like a changed version of Obito basically, and he decides that he wants to talk to Kakashi as soon as possible, and at least get his side of the story for sure. Because all Naruto says is that not Kakashi didn't ever mean to kill Ren. Always another side of the story. Just talk to him, and yeah, Obito decides to do this. And the way they decide to do this is Obito would have been hiding in Naruto's room or Naruto's house, and actually no, they would decide to just confront Kakashi up front. They would have asked for Kakashi to meet them in the what's called in the where they took the bell test, basically around that area. And so Naruto would have been there, and Obito would have been hiding kind of in the forest a bit, hiding his chakra as well. And of course Kakashi gets there really late, and when he gets there, he tells Naruto some lame excuse like, "I was helping out a old woman cross the road and carrying her groceries," or "I got lost along the path of life," or something along the lines that Obito would say. And so as soon as he said that, Obito would start walking out and start laughing, go, "Huh, so you've taken my excuses, haven't you, Kakashi?" And not Kakashi to go, "Wait, Obito?" And he would have like just been shocked. He would have kind of just been standing there like, is that Obito? I can't tell. He looks a lot more older. And and um Obito would say, "Well, it's been a while, hasn't it, Kakashi?" And Kakashi would say, "Is that you? I thought you were dead." And um Obito would have looked at his hands and said, "Well, for the most part, I'm alive." And Kakashi would say, "Wait, how? Naruto, did you know about this? And what's it called? Naruto said, well, Kakashi, I think it's time to come clean on why, or basically he would have said it's time to come clean about something. And Naruto would have said, Kakashi, close your eyes for a second. And Kakashi would have closed his eyes, and Naruto would have put his hand on his forehead and transferred some of his memories into Kakashi about the future, about Obito, about all that. And Kakashi would have opened his eyes like, wow, I'm so sorry for what you gone through, Naruto. And Obito, I'm sorry about all this. I didn't know. And Obito said, don't worry, Kakashi. That's all in the past. I've learned some things about my life that I've never known before, and I've decided that from now on I'll be choosing the right path, the path that Rin would have always wanted for me. And Kakashi would say, yes, well, it seems that we're both lost on the path of life now, aren't we, Obito? And on that note, I'm gonna leave off this what if here. I might make another part like tomorrow. I'm kind of trying to finish a series as soon as possible so I can start a new one. So yeah, what series should I start? What series should I start next? Should it be? I'm thinking of what if Naruto had a copy Genkai, or what if Naruto was an Uchiha? There's a few other ones, but what should be the next series? Because I think the next part is gonna be the last part for the series. I know this was kind of a short series, but kind of wanted to wrap it up a bit more faster, but hopefully you guys still enjoyed this part. It was still 41 minutes long, and it is now almost 6 a.m. and I started at 5 a.m. and after this I'm probably going to fall asleep. So either way, hope you guys enjoyed this video. Like, subscribe, all that, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.